Hello, everyone, and let's just cut right to it. Passengers with Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence. These two were paid big bucks for this movie. Jennifer Lawrence was paid $20 million. Chris Pratt, $12 million. And I understand why. I mean, Chris Pratt was like white hot after Guardians and Jurassic World, so he was definitely of that. And Jennifer Lawrence, Hunger Games fame, X-Men fame, Oscar winner. It makes sense. Yeah, so I'm not gonna blame that. So now I'm gonna read you the back of the box. So Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt star in a high-stakes adventure about two passengers, Aurora and Jim, on board a spaceship transporting them to a new life on another planet. The trip takes a deadly turn when their hibernation pods mysteriously wake them 90 years before they reach their destination. As they try to unravel the mystery behind the malfunction, they discover that the ship itself is in grave danger. The lives of 5,000 sleeping passengers at stake, only Jim and Aurora can save them all. It's a major problem with this description. It doesn't mention the twist in the movie revolving around. So in the trailers, it looks like both their pods just mysteriously open, but that doesn't happen in the movie. Oh no, that doesn't happen at all. I'll tell you what really happens. So Jim's pod, or Chris Pratt's pod, wakes up. You know, he wakes him out of his hibernation process. And first he's all mad, then he just comes to accept it. And he's just alone for like a year. He has like a whole beard and everything. It's looking like a caveman. But because, you know, due to extreme loneliness, I mean, he does have Arthur, but he's an android, so that doesn't really count. He's just alone. And then, like, he just stumbles upon Jennifer Lawrence's pod, and then, like, he reads about her, and, like, he likes her, but then he just has some back and forth, like, should I release her? Should I not? And then he does release her, which pretty much meant he killed her, because both of them are going to be dead by the time they reach this new planet. And, he basically committed murder without even really killing her. He just... And, at first she doesn't know. They have, like, a good old time. It's like a romantic comedy. If, you know, it had, except it's creepy and has Stockholm Syndrome. A little bit of that in there. Because Jim, well, he just basically forced Aurora because he needed a companion. And at first, like, when she finds out what he did, of course she's upset, she's pissed off, she beats him up and whatnot. She doesn't even want to talk to him. I mean, who would? He killed her, basically. But eventually she comes to love him because that's how relationships work. At least Hollywood relationships work. But then they realize the ship is it's going through problems. And Lawrence Fishburne, he's like the captain. Like, he wakes up, but he dies mainly because of, I forgot exactly. It's like a whole bunch of disorders, and he's just not good. And then he dies. So he was kind of a waste. And, Chris Pratt, you know, he has to, I guess you could say, sacrifice himself because he has to save the ship, and whatnot. And he does, but, like, he nearly dies, but then Jennifer Lawrence saves him, and then they live together, And then, like, when all the other passengers wake up, like, 88 years later, they're just like, wow, look at all this green and trees and whatnot. And they're just ignoring the fact that the two pretty much died. And one of them didn't even have to die at all. So it's quite a happy, dark ending. And that's how the movie ends. Oh, this is tough to talk about because, I mean, the acting is good. I mean, Jennifer Lawrence, you know, when she's motivated, she can give a really good performance. I think she did so in this movie, and so did Chris Pratt. Both did a really good job. Especially since this whole movie revolves around these two. This is a very limited cast. These are basically the only two in the whole movie, other than Michael Sheen. But these are the only two main actors in the movie, so this movie was all on them. And I think they succeeded. Visually, it's really good looking. Like the ship that they're on, I forgot what it was called. But it looks really cool. It's like revolving around and whatnot. It's a really cool looking ship. Yeah, and all the other visuals are nice to look at. Music's alright. But you can't ignore the twist and what Chris Pratt did. Because it's just so horrible. It's truly like... Look, I understand why he did it. Because he was like real lonely. And he actually, his character wanted to think about committing suicide, but he couldn't do it. And I understand why he would bring Aurora like out of her pod, but it's still just... That's just awful. As I already said, he killed her. He killed her, basically. He forced her to be with him. And whatnot. It's just... That's just one of the worst things like I've ever seen a movie do. And I think that's why it got such a critical thrashing. Because this movie was actually hyped up, you know, for a little bit. People were really excited. And then everybody found out about the twist. And I'm just like, oh no. And yeah. I mean, this movie still did okay. I mean, after the movie didn't start box office wise, it didn't open very well, but it did have good word of mouth, surprisingly. And then ultimately became a success. But it's just, I don't even know what to say. It's just so... It makes you angry, honestly. Like, it just turns you off, you know, of the movie. Just that whole... The fact that they have to hide the twist, and you find out in the movie, it's horrible. Absolutely, like, just... Ugh. I don't want to talk about this movie anymore. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. If it wasn't for that twist, it would be a lot higher, but that twist just killed the movie for me. And it killed a lot of people too, because that's just... It's just so bad. And it's just... It's just... It's so bad. So yeah, that was Passengers. Oh, I'm glad I'll never have to watch that movie again, because I'm not watching that twist ever again, because it's one of the worst twists ever, because it's awful what Jim did to Aurora, and can't believe they thought that was a good idea. But anywho, next review, we'll have to check what the next review is. Oh boy, it's a remake. Not just any remake, a horror movie remake, and those are always good. And I'm just going to tell you right now, it's not Jason. I already did him. But it is someone that a lot of people know. That it is, Freddy. We are going to do a Nightmare on Elm Street, the Michael Bay version. Yeah. Should be real fun. So make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment. I will see you all next time, and I am out.